What's up, swing traders? Snacks here. We're gonna do our watch list for September 29th. And guys, we got everything we were looking for. I won't say calling, I don't like to say calling, but we got the exact price action that we have been waiting for. And staying a little light going into it, right? We weren't over positioning. I have taken a couple longer term starters recently. Look, we were calling for a pullback, right? The market was just really getting extended and we needed a pullback. And what do we want out of a pullback? We want to see positioning, right? It's an opportunity to see where they step in, defend, and get us back onto trend. Where do we get bought up and get back onto trend? We are in a raging bull market, okay? Every dip has gotten bought for 6 months, all right? So we were waiting as we were a bit extended for another dip and see where they step in and get us back on the trend. That's exactly what they've done. We're getting a pretty big gap up here, and the SPY RSP looking really good as well with a reaction off of the 50 and getting back over prior all-time highs. I would like to see it clear this range. The Q's quite strong, and IWM also looking to retest that breakout level. I'd like to see it get up through, pull back, hold, and really push and get small caps on a run going into Q4 to close out 2025. Strong for small caps. Could be quite a bit of opportunity there. But guys, I've got a big list today, so I'm gonna try to not be super repetitive and just show you all the setups. So I'm gonna just address here for anyone that is new or still just getting to know the way that I trade. I trade continuation setups mostly, okay? 5 out of 6 of my models are continuation setups on the leaders, okay? We like to trade the leaders because leaders lead, and we like to let them go on sale, see Wall Street position into them, give us a show of strength at or around our level, and remount our short-term trend, which is the 9 EMA. Okay, so that is our bread and butter setup, the triple R. We look for a retracement, a reaction at or around our level, and a remount of the short term, getting us back onto trend, and we're targeting recent or new highs. And again, one last time, this is why we were waiting for a retracement in the market. In the last few watch lists, I was saying, hey guys, look, pay attention. We got our multi-day pullback. We got a bit of a reaction here, a buy up, and a continuation, and now we're getting a gap up. So a little bit of follow through here on the indices, and we said if that happens, we needed it to happen, right? Because for the last couple weeks, most of our focus list of leaders was already into the setups already happened, right? They were already going into profits, and we needed a pullback in the market to reset everything, and we got it. So I'm really excited here. We've got, again, a very, very big list, and my data says that I must swing the bat, okay? This is going into a risk profile B. We've been in C for a couple of weeks now as we were extended. We took some trades and profits in this move, and then as we really started to get stretched, I stayed out of positions, and we got a pullback, and we were at about 193% profits on the year going up into the Fed meeting, and we haven't taken any new positions. So I did take one short on BE, which I've already gotten out of, right? Got a pretty good short here on BE, but anyways, we've not taken any continuation setups for the last week or so. There was a couple days where I was willing, but just didn't get in. Specifically like Thursday, Friday of last week, and was just being a bit more protective. And we were up 193%. And we pulled back into the 170s because my longer term positions, my leaps, have pulled back in this market pullback. But look, I expect those to get right back on the grind, and I think we're going to get possibly over 200% if we can get follow through and legs on this move. I think if we can get into a couple good trades and these leaps catch back up, then we should have no issue getting over 200% on this push. And then, I think we're gonna have a strong Q4, but I do expect a little bit of a deeper retracement. I don't try to be too predictive. I just think we're gonna get a little bit of a shakeout and then a push into year end. So look, right now, my model, my data tells me I must swing the bat, okay? We have probabilities in our favor, and that is the best that we can hope for, and I must swing the bat, okay? Are they all going to work? I don't know. Statistically, probably, but it's okay. We're not going to over position. We still respect our risk profile. I'm looking to take one or two. have maybe full-size positions here this week. So let's just go ahead and jump into the watch list. We'll start with TEM. This is a bit of a shake and go setup here, right? We had the prior all-time highs that was broken and immediately rolled, so shook everyone out, and we got a bit of a reaction at around our level. It's a triple R and a shake and go, and I like to stack my models. Over the 9 here on TEM has a great look to me. ANET is very high up on my interest list. I think I will certainly be taking this today if we have good strength in the market. We're gapping up on the market. I don't really love to buy gap ups. If we gap and go, then we just have to look for intraday strength. And if we gap up, we sell off, then we just want to look for them to, again, step in position and push us higher. So like a red to green sort of move would be very attractive to me on all of these setups. But again, guys, I don't want to be really repetitive because I've got like 20 names here. We got what we wanted, guys. We got the retracement in the market, a reaction, and a remount on the market. So that means a good chunk of our list is firing off. But what we look for is a leader, okay? And we want it to be in a trend backed by growing fundamentals, and we want to see it respecting structure. And we look for a retracement, reaction at or around our level, and a remount of the level, and we target recent or new highs, okay? And we've got Celsius here. I'll say it just a couple more times, but we look for a retracement, reaction at or around our level, and a remount. Celsius, I was looking to pull the trigger on Friday. I just did not. Boot camp, check out the list of entry videos over on the side of the master doc. And I talked through that. Obviously hindsight, it's looking like maybe I should have, but it's okay. If we get a bit of a red to green move here today, I still do like Celsius. FUTU is one that, again, we were being a little bit cautious on protecting ourselves last week. Really looking for continuation out of the market, which we seem to be getting. So I do like FUTU back over the 9 here for a triple R. RCAT is a new name for us here. It is in the drone sector, and I like this accumulation. All right, this is actually something I may look for longer term leaps, and don't love the idea of wartime positioning, but this is getting some eyes, this is getting some accumulation, and we've got some good structure here that it is holding, and it's another one of those sort of shake and go. So you had this high breakout, immediately rolled over, shook everyone out, but then held structure, held our level, reacted at around our level. I think back over the 9, RCAT is worth a look, and I am considering it for a longer term position. This is another one we've been looking at for a while on this retracement. This is NAIL, a 3x ETF for home builders. Look at all, again, this good accumulation. We get a change in character, nice tight pullback to the 200 here. Guys, over the 9, you got to swing the bat here on NAIL. AMD is another one that I like over the 50. And we've got AMSC, another leader, retracement, reaction at or around our level, remount, you pull the trigger, okay? Retracement, reaction at or around our level, and we're getting our next remount on a leader. CRDO is surely a leader in the market, and we're getting a good pullback here, reaction at around our level, and we're looking for this guy to get back over the 9 to pull the trigger. ALAB looks pretty similar, right? So we came right back into this prior consolidation zone, got a good reaction in it, and I think that, maybe, well, this will probably come down a little bit more. So yeah, back over the 9 on ALAB looks good to me. OUST, another. This is a semi, and we're getting a retracement, reaction at around our level. Look to possibly put in a double top here, but if we invalidate that by getting a reaction and back onto trend, I think we could look to break out here of that double top on something that seems to be putting in an IPO cycle on accumulation. So a lot going for OUST here. I do like it. Let's go back to the daily. And we've got Dave, one that can get quite squeezy. Looks like we're getting a storm coming in. Yep. All right. Anyways, we've got Dave here. Changing character, right? Holding structure. We like this. We like this a lot, and we want to see it back over the 9, and a name that we know to get quite squeezy. I like this entry here on Dave over about 228 area. And we've got CVNA, another leader. And we're, it's been a little bit shaky, I'll say, but still holding structure, right? This was a triple R here, that worked. This was a triple R here, that worked. All right, it's doing it again, and I like that it's flirting with this prior all-time high level, which is what this green line is. You got to think this thing's going to get going and have some legs if it can clear out through that area, and I like the tight consolidation. it's not so much consolidation, right? We are moving up, but it's pretty tight. So I think when it finally does break out of this range, it might have some legs to it. SOFI is an IPO cycle. Thank you, Zach and Bootcamp, for bringing this to my attention. And guys, IPO cycle, we got a little bit of a breakout, pullback, retest, hold. Let's go to the daily so you can see that a little bit better, right? So we broke out of the box, pulled back, retested it, and if we get going again, get legs, you got to swing that bat with a stop. It would depend if you're doing a shorter term. I like to do 3 days to 3 months on my trades and use options for leverage to still realize like 50% plus moves. But anyways, if you're doing shares and you want to go longer term, then I think you need to have a bit looser of a stop. That's why I've got this down here as we were reviewing that over the weekend, Zach. For shares, I like down here at the 50, but if you're going shorter term, maybe swinging options, a few week contract, then I think you need to respect this swing low here. All right, and we've got net. I like net. Another one of those ones flirting with that all-time high level, right? And it's struggling to get through it, getting a bit choppy, but I think you got to swing the bat here, put a stop below swing lows, and if we can clear this range, another one of those ones sort of like, I think it was Carvana, that I think you can really get legs once it breaks out of this zone, because it's, it's all-time highs, right? So we've gotten choppy at it, right? They're not making it easy for you to get into it, but I think if you can get in and keep a tight stop, look, triple R right here is setting up at all-time highs. You got to swing that bat. AVGO is one that was a bit shaky for those who entered, right? But sort of holding this gap. If they are not able to invalidate this, that would be a strong signal here, and back over the 9 is worth a shot in my opinion. ELF looks quite good to me. Broke out, pulled back, reaction at around our level, back over the 9. This is very attractive to me. ELF. RKLB looks good as well. Another one of those ones flirting with those all-time high levels. Look, getting a little bit of shake going on, getting a little bit shaky, but pulling back into structure, retracement, reaction at around our level, back over the 9. RKLB looks good to me. Roblox, same deal, RBLX. See what happens, guys, when you align this with market breadth, or you wait. This is what we were waiting for, calling, hoping to happen in the indices. That's why we were not aggressive, right? And didn't get chopped up in the last 3 weeks, right? We were waiting, and now our entire list has set back up. This is exciting stuff. So we're getting a retracement reaction at around our level, and we sort of had a trigger here on Friday, but a continuation. I think there's bigger structure here, right? With this being an IPO cycle. And we got a shakeout of the first move. I think the second move usually works, okay? Big gap up was where that shakeout came from. Big gap up on earnings, and we've kind of chopped around, gone sideways. I think through highs here, this has legs to it. SYM is a robotics company that I'm looking for a way into, and we popped up, tested this all-time high level, and pulled back right into structure, right into our 50, and we're getting a reaction at it. A remount of the 9 feels like a good entry into something that could have a bigger move setting up in it. This is a big box breakout here for me on SYM. And robotics, which is a sector I don't think has really gotten on many people's radar yet, but I think it will be over the next decade. And Spot, another one. All right, kind of holding structure here, and we got a retracement into our 50, sort of chopping around, going sideways. I think clearing, maybe the range might be a safer bet here, but that would require a bit looser of a stop, but I do still like it. I think maybe clearing this range, you could probably get all-time highs out of Spot. Is it all-time? Yep. And we've got Netflix, another one I've been looking for a way into. Right, as we've kind of gone sideways here. I think clearing this to 1233 area is a good look for me here on Netflix, and I would probably use the 2X ETF. Cheaper way into it, but really it's just more volatile, and that goes both up and down. So do be careful, maybe size slightly smaller for something like this. And Reddit, another great leader, giving us a retracement reaction at around our level, rebound on the 9, swing the bat. TLN, another leader. Okay, retracement, didn't really get a deep one here, but this guy's strong, and you can see each time that it has remounted, it's really just gotten going pretty quickly. It's a strong name. I've not played it yet, but it's been on my radar since a couple of you brought this to my attention and one of the assignment submissions for bootcamp. I do appreciate that. I like this, so I'm sure you guys are watching. MSFT, this is sort of, go time or no time for Microsoft here. I think clearing the range is worth a shot, targeting top of range, and Uber is another one that's getting a little bit shaky at it. Uber. Getting a little bit shaky right here, you know, but trying to bust out the all-time high. So we got a breakout, shakeout, and a remount of that all-time high level, and we're starting to get some legs here. I think this has the potential to put in a slightly bigger move here, and it's just been struggling to get through both that psych level of 100, and it's just, you know, they're playing games, all right? This is market manipulation, if you will, right? They're just shaking things out, making it difficult to get an entry when likely there's a pretty big move coming here in Uber. VST, same exact deal here, right? Probably a pretty big move coming here in VST as we break to all-time highs. It tried to break out, shook everyone out, held the 9. I think it is a trigger here over Friday's high. And a couple more here. Amazon, another one I'm looking to get into, but I need this guy over the 50. Might use AMZU, sort of like Netflix there, for a little bit of additional leverage. And CLS is another one where they tried to shake and it got bought up. Guys, this is very attractive, okay? They tried to roll it over, but it immediately got bought up and remounting the short-term trend. So over Friday's high here, I think we might see new highs. I really like when we see stuff like this and you get bears stepping in, right? And they just, it's a bear trap, right? So you got a breakout, a shakeout, positioning, they got bought up back over the trend. I think we might get the real move here in CLS, which is surely a leader. So guys, pretty big watch list, but this is everything we have been looking for. And look, you got to respect your risk profile first, but you have to swing the bat if you're going to roll with me. And guys, this is how we're up over 170% on the year, because we swing the bat when we align our edge with market breadth. Okay, that gives us probabilities and positioning of Wall Street at our backs. Guys, they're positioning into the leaders when they go on sale. They've done it yet again here on the SPY. Okay, look, another retracement, reaction at around our level, and a remount on the indices means our whole focus list is ready to rock, and you got to swing back. All right, guys, we're doing the gap down reversals tonight in boot camp. I'll see you there here in a couple hours. I'm excited. Let's go make some money. I'll see you guys soon.